who have flown in from around the world to get this restored, and that's our priority.
The outage started around 9 p.m. Wednesday, May 14th. Text service and Cellcom to Cellcom voice service has been restored. 911 service was never affected by the outage. There's a new effort meant to keep the milk supply safe. If bird flu is found during testing, pasteurization would kill it and the milk could still be used commercially. Terry Barr explains.
Farmers across our state will be required to test milk for the H5N1 virus. It's also known as bird flu. Wisconsin Agriculture Secretary Randy Romansky says the U.S. Department of Ag wants samples tested from every farm once a month.
If H5N1 is detected through the testing, they would also work with any affected farms if there should be a positive, identify whether it exists, and then take steps to get rid of it if it is occurring.
Ag officials say testing could get underway by later this week.
I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
The Brewers surrender to the Orioles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, Milwaukee's Caleb Durbin tied it up in the ninth, but top of the 11th, the Orioles' Adley Rutschman drove the ball deep into left field on the Orioles TV network.
So he didn't get a great jump off the first base. Get up, ball. Deep to left. Adley Rutschman toward the wall. Yeah. It's gone! An ice-breaking three-run shot. Adley Rutschman goes right on left, goes out to left, and the Orioles have opened it up here in the 11th. His 14th RBI, and the Orioles have busted it wide open here in the top of the 11th.
The Brewers running out of arms at the end of the game. Trevor McGill, Tyler Alexander ended up losing 8-4 today at AmFam Field. The Crew missing out on the sweep, but winning this series 2-1. The Orioles snapping an 8-game losing streak. Up next, the Crew heads to Pittsburgh for a 4-game weekend series against the Pirates. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A lingering shower or two tonight, cloudy sky and a low in the mid-40s. Sunshine returns for Thursday and Friday, highs of 60 to 65. And we'll stay in the 60s through the weekend and into Memorial Day, a slight chance of rain each day. Right now it's 48.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
I'm as guilty as anybody about this, not talking to real people in person. I'm sorry, I don't believe that texting or video conferencing or any other of that jazz can supplement one-on-one interaction. We as humans need other humans. We need to connect with people. So anyway, that's the public service announcement to start off the week. Get outside and talk to real live humans. You'll feel better.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Richard Trent, the executive director of Main Street Alliance.
This current tax code that they're trying to extend, 80+% of the benefit goes to the top 1% of earners.
Yes.
I did not misspeak there. This is not a game. Trump will tell you firsthand that he grew up believing there are winners and there are losers. This is an administration actively trying to create a class of losers, and we have to fight back.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
Coming up on Thursday, Jesse Lynn and Ariel Perez join us from the Green Bay Press Gazette.
And we'll welcome Andrew Parks with the Brown County Civic Music.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Light with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a man barely 6 feet tall, but a mountain of muscle, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Night Light, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Wednesday night. We are headed toward a holiday weekend. Very excited about that. And got a great show tonight. Lots of fun tonight. We're going to talk about an art festival in Door County and a lot of other stuff. Some Travel Wisconsin stuff too tonight, Conrad. What do you think about that?
I think that's great.
You know, it's weird. Like, you kind of want to travel the world, and there's a lot of places I still want to see. But when I talked to Logan Rogie, who is our guest in the second hour, I realized there's so much stuff just in Wisconsin I haven't seen that I want to check out. And I always make a list after I talk to Logan. So he'll be here at 7:35. And then, but before that, coming up at 6:35, we have an in-studio guest named Shane McAdams. He's an artist, and he is the director of the Door County Contemporary Art Festival, which is right around the corner. So we'll get all the details from Shane. He's going to be here live. And then we've got my pal Bruce Jarko is going to be here at 7:05 to talk about his good friend George Wendt, who passed away yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about George's career, and Bruce will share some memories. That will be a lot of fun. That's at 7:05. We'll talk to Bruce for a few minutes. So, yeah, it's crazy how much this guy George Wendt was just so well liked. I mean, I'm reading all this stuff. He, by all accounts, was just like the most down to earth, cool dude. And but we'll talk to Bruce about that and get some insight. Bruce has been on the show before. Bruce is a great actor, also a Second City trained, like George Wendt is. I assume that's where they meant, but I'll ask Bruce that. Bruce was on Seinfeld like 3 times. He's like in this club of people who have done that show as different walk-on roles 3 times, I think 3 times. And his most memorable one appearance was as a doctor when George went in to have the thing in his lip looked at. George says, "Cancer? Is it cancer?" And Bruce is... My favorite line, Bruce says, "Well, I don't know what it is." So always crack up when I see that. So Bruce will be here at 7:05. That'll be fun too. Lots going on. A little George Wendt talk, some art talk, and some Travel Wisconsin talk, folks. That's a show. And we've got a great question tonight. Lots of fun topics we will explore. Why don't we get to the, should we get to the question, Conrad? What do you think? Let's do that.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
Who is your favorite TV or movie badass? That's a question, folks. Who is your favorite TV or movie badass? It's funny, I don't... The first one that comes to mind for me is Shiger, played by Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. Maybe the creepiest guy ever in a movie. But I also liked Michael Fassbender in a movie called The Killer. He plays an assassin who screws up and has to race home before those that gave him the contract kill his wife. Kind of a slick assassin type. I don't know. There are so many ways you could go with this. And a badass doesn't have to be a bad guy. I just pick Shiger because I love that movie so much. Josh Brolin plays the protagonist in No Country for Old Men, and he's a badass. So lots of characters to choose from. Conrad, you got one?
Yeah, Joe Dirt.
If you say Joe Dirt one more time on this show, I am going to send your ass packing down Washington Street, buddy. Where did this obsession for you and Joe Dirt come?
It's
just like to say Joe Dirt.
Because it's a terrible movie.
Well, I would assume so.
Yeah.
David Spade is the lead actor. Funny as he is.
I mean, he's made some fun movies, but...
He's great in Tommy Boy.
His younger stuff, I would say, is better than his... Well, I guess Joe Dirt's kind of young him, but it's past it, you know.
Do you have an actual favorite badass?
Yeah. Come back to me. This is tough. I've been trying to decide this since I saw the question today.
All right. You've got Jules from Pulp Fiction, Samuel Jackson. Die Hard, Bruce Willis. Oh, Michael Corleone, John Wick. Lots of good ones.
You know, okay. This might be because I love these movies, and he's the main character, and he's a badass in all movies.
Who is it?
Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones.
True.
Or Harrison Ford is Han Solo.
Yeah, no, he's definitely that guy. How about Uma Thurman in Kill Bill? Awesome.
That's a great one.
Great movie. There's a ton of people to choose from. So have fun with this one, folks. Let us know who your favorite badass is for movies or TV. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can text us on the app. Very easy to use. We're on statewide, so just click next to the station you're listening to and fire away. And you can also text us if you're watching the radio on the stream at X, YouTube, or Facebook. Let us know, and we will read your text on the radio. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Sugar, I think. I love that movie. It's one of those movies I absolutely cannot turn off. Lots going on, though. Tony Goldwyn has a birthday today. He was in my film, The Godfather of Green Bay. It was a pleasure to direct Tony Goldwyn. And Tony Goldwyn is MGM Goldwyn, Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Samuel Goldwyn was his grandfather. So he is truly Hollywood royalty, and he never took it for granted. I've never met a more down-to-earth guy than when he was on the set of The Godfather of Green Bay. I'm just this guy making a movie in my hometown of Marinette, Wisconsin, and he would come up to me after every take. How was that? How was the accent? How was my acting? Like, truly a professional actor who respected the director's opinion. And I don't know that I had earned that. That was the first film I had directed, and only film, for that matter. And he just could not have been a more professional guy and a phenomenal actor. So happy birthday, Tony Goldwyn. Timothy Oliphant has a birthday today. That's a show we haven't really talked about on this program, is Justified. Great show. Like 7 seasons of it, too. And Timothy Oliphant is great in it. And Jimmy Stewart has a birthday today. You heard of Jimmy Stewart, Conrad?
Yes, I've heard of his work.
He's done well for himself. We have a phone call?
Yes, we do. It's Greg from Waukesha.
Hey, Greg. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, too. So, favorite movie badass has to be Julia Roberts in the movie The Blind Side, and even in Aaron Brockovich. More of a badass in The Blind Side, though. But, but Julia Roberts has to be my favorite movie badass.
That's a great badass. Yeah. And that was a great role, Aaron Brockovich, because Aaron Brockovich was a badass, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
She was. Yep. So
great call, Greg. Thank you so much. And don't be a stranger. It's good to hear from you, dude.
Yeah, good to hear from me too, Pete.
All
okay,
right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Greg. Greg from Waukesha. We haven't heard from Greg in a while. It was great.
Yeah.
So other big news, the tush push stays.
Yes.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And
nor should it.
The Eagles posted a video. It's like 25 minutes of all tush pushes on their YouTube.
They should. They revolutionized something. Like Devin Hester changed the kickoff rule. That was more for safety too. And I'm all about protecting players. I don't want the game to go away. So protect them however you have to do for us to keep football, because I like watching it so much. But the tush push. Oh, we don't like this. That's a play. It's hard to stop. Yeah, the whole game is hard. Stop it. Figure out a way to stop it. Don't outlaw it. I'm glad it's staying. Because they'll design something that will stop it.
They have to. I mean, you got to think in the camps this year, there's going to be like, all right, guys, how do we stop this?
Right.
And they just got to workshop it,
And he's got, what's his name? Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I don't even know that he needs a push. The guy can squat like 4,000 pounds. He's probably not stopping that anyway.
And then you also got Saquon, who can do the same.
Right.
And now they just added A.J. Dillon. So
yeah,
that's a quad backfield right there.
Absolutely. And I saw that Brock Purdy, Mr. What do they call
Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, signed a 5-year, $265 million extension. Did he earn that, Conrad? Or not? Did he even earn it? He got it. He earned it. I give him that.
Yes.
But is he worth it? Would you have paid that for Brock Purdy? I would not have.
I wouldn't have, but I'm not an NFL owner. So to keep him from leaving, keep him satisfied, keep him their franchise quarterback,
you got to do it.
And I mean, I can see the Texans doing this with C.J. Stroud in a couple of years too.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't. And I don't begrudge. Like, good for Brock Purdy. That's a great story. I was thoroughly surprised, though, when I saw that. Hey, is it weird to mess with people on when you get these texts from people that try to engage you in conversation?
Weird to mess with them?
Well, I feel like if they're going to mess with me, if they're going to randomly text me and act like they know me, they're obviously after something. I assume it's money, but I started messing with them. There was this girl, she started sharing pictures. Not anything weird, just, hey, how you been? And I'm like, great. So I try to keep the conversation going, kind of like I did with Sofia Coppola.
Yes.
That didn't really go anywhere. So I thought I started having this conversation with this woman, quote, I'll do this. I'll read it on the show. But I got to be honest, it started boring me. I told her my name was Tristan.
There you go.
And she's like, it would be very mundane stuff. Like, where are you from, Tristan? This and that. And I I painted this picture of myself so they would keep texting me. I said, well, I'm very wealthy and my wife is leaving me and I know she's going to take half. But I want to take care of. Oh, I painted this whole. I'm a writer, dude. I painted this whole story. I told her. She said, "You seem down." I said, "Well, I'm having a penis reduction next week, and I'm nervous about it."
Okay.
And I just kept pushing, and she would not leave me. She kept texting. Like, they're obviously. I wanted them to think I have money, so they would keep, pushing because I want to see what their motivation was.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I got bored. And now she can't, like, as of a week ago, goes, Tristan, are you okay? You're worrying me because I wasn't responding. I don't know what to do. It's so invasive. And it's probably illegal on some level, but it's no different really than telemarketers. I like to mess with telemarketers too. Although that was years ago. I don't even pick up the phone anymore. And it's mostly boredom. I just want to entertain myself, But I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. So we got that going. We got a great show tonight, folks. Our question of the night one more time is, who's your favorite movie or TV badass? We will read those texts coming up after a very short break. And Logan Rogie is here. Our pal Logan Rogie is here in the second hour. I will take a quiz. Logan is going to give me a quiz. It's not lengthy, but he's going to give me a quiz and see how I do. It's called, what's it called? Fact or Fest, right? No, Fiction or Fest.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll play that because we usually give the quizzes around here, but Logan's bringing a quiz. That'll be fun. Bruce Jarko is here at 7:05. The great actor Bruce Jarko to talk about his buddy George Wendt, and and Shane McAdams is here tonight. So this is a fun show, folks. You are hearing a great night. Let us know what your answer to the question is. We'll read those when we come back. It's Pete Schwaba and Night Light on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I remember these things the most. All my dreams come tumbling down. I'll be happy without you around. So alone I keep the moves at bay.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
We believe your stories matter because here at WGBW, your stories are our stories too. Our award-winning news team of Lisa Hale, Brittany Merlot, and Terry Barr cover the issues that affect your life every day, the stories that shape your world. You'll hear it on the air, read it online, and see it on social media, wherever you are. Real news, great conversation, 97.9 WGBW, connected to you and your community.
Did you hear the news? There's a new business opening in the Broadway district. Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And Friday, May 30th at 10 a.m., you can join in the celebration of welcoming Crepe Bistro and Cafe to the Broadway district in downtown Green Bay. Coffee will be provided, and they encourage you to stay and have an early lunch after the ceremony. Don't forget to mark it in your calendar. Check out more details. Head to WGBW.fm. Click events.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. We are in a rare moment right now in Wisconsin politics. Why, you ask? Well, it's because we are not actively in the middle of a campaign cycle. It's been more than 6 weeks now since any of us have seen a campaign ad. It's been pretty nice, hasn't it? The moment we're in is as close as we're going to get to a political off-season here in Wisconsin. And we need to take advantage of this moment by taking action to improve our democracy. That means taking steps to address money in politics, cleaning up some issues with election administration, and creating a long-term plan for nonpartisan redistricting. In some cases, we can't make these kinds of changes in the middle of a campaign, so we need to be thinking about what we can do now. There's a lot both parties can agree on here, too. So let's make some moves this offseason, Wisconsin. Seize this moment to make a better, stronger, more inclusive democracy.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation Area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
Wednesday evening. I'll tell you, we're off. We're putting a show together for Friday. It's going to be all original, but I won't be here. I have to take some time off for a family friend who passed away earlier last week. So it's going to be a great show. We're still doing Bar Band Friday, and got great guests. Who do we have on Friday?
Well,
I'll pull up the sheet here because that's going to be a big show.
Terry Barr is
of course Terry Barr will be here. Michael Collins, the director. This week, folks, my classic movie pick of the week is a film called Almost Sunrise about two veterans who hike across America. The director, Michael Collins, will be here to talk about that on Friday. And then WGBW's very own Eliza Cussin will be here, the newest member of our team. And of course, Terry Barr. So that's Friday. So this feels like, what I'm going with this, Conrad, is this feels like a Thursday.
Yeah, it does.
So, I don't know. Feels good. All right, we have a phone call.
Yes, we do.
Let's take that call. Who do we have?
Richard from Waukesha.
Richard, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I got a good movie. It's a good layback, dark comedy, and some good humor.
Love it.
Situational. It's Paul Newman in a movie called I'm Nobody's Fool.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You heard of that one?
I have. I saw it years and years ago. I thought you were going.
It's just
yeah, given the question, I thought you were going to say Cool Hand Luke for badass, but yeah, he's a badass in everything.
Well, this is just a good piece, This is just a decent movie.
Yeah. Melanie Griffith is in it too, right?
Who?
I think it's Melanie Griffith. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that years ago.
Yeah, and the acting is very well done.
That's fantastic.
So
yeah, great suggestion. Thank you so much.
Popcorn and your soda and lay back.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call, buddy. Have a great night, Richard. Thanks
You're
so
welcome.
much. Okay.
Bye.
Nobody's Fool. Kind of forgot about that movie. It's been about probably 25, 30 years since I've seen it, but maybe worth a rewatch. All right. Our question tonight is, who is your favorite movie or TV badass? We got some great responses on social media. Kurt Krause says, Sam Elliott as Wade Garrett in Roadhouse. Oh, that's a good one. Sarah Jean says Katniss Everdeen. Yes, that's a great one too, Sarah Jean. Thank you. From the Hunger Games, of course. What do you think of that name, Katniss? That's pretty badass.
It sounds like catnip.
It does, but it's not. Catnip is not badass. Katniss is badass.
There we go.
Yeah. Matt Harper says David LaBrava as Happy in Sons of Anarchy. I got to be honest. I have not seen much of Sons of Anarchy, even though our pal Jamie McShane was a regular on the show. He's been on the show a few times. He played an Irish gun runner who met a tragic fate, like many people on Sons of Anarchy do. But I got to give the show a watch. I only watched Jamie's episodes. I hear it's great. Thank you, Matt. Good to hear from you, buddy. Monica Hale says John Malkovich in Red with his comic paranoia and stockpile of weapons. John Malkovich is pretty badass in anything. Great one, Monica. Daniel Wheeler says Mike Ehrmantraut. This might be the winner of the night. Jonathan Banks played Mike in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And Daniel calls him a great anti-hero. And that is a really good way to describe Mike. Great character. And I love that he's an old guy too, and he's a badass. But I agree with Richard. Now, I think Richard was just calling in to give a suggestion, but Paul Newman, he was so great in The Sting and Cool Hand Luke. Great movie, badass. Going to the text line here. Do you have one yet?
Yeah,
You still thinking?
No, Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana
Harrison
Jones,
Ford.
right. That's better than Joe Dirt.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Steve from Florida says, hands down, all-time favorite movie badass is Clint Easthouse. Conrad's laughing at you, Steve. We know you meant
He
Clint
still doesn't
Eastwood.
know how to type.
East House. It would be tough. Like Eastwood is a badass name. East House is like the guy you're like, get out of here, East House.
It's a Wisconsin name.
Noogie time. Yeah, exactly. So Steve says Clint Eastwood. I'm sure you would get a lot of agreement there, Steve. Sherry from Horicon says, good evening, Pete and Conrad. Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke. The original Matt Dillon. Sherry's going pre-Outsiders, the other Matt Dillon. Great one, Sherry. Mark from Prairie du Sac says, long kiss goodnight, Gina Davis and Sam Jackson. Yes. That was one of my classic movie picks of the week recently. Gina Davis is so great in that. And Samuel Jackson is hilarious in that. I would call her the badass in that film. And Sam Jackson just so much fun to watch in that movie. And he does kind of save the day a couple times too. So I guess you could say he's a badass, but I just thought he was hilarious. Tom from New Berlin says Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn for female, and Bond. All of them. So he goes James Bond and Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie's a good one too. Great choices, everybody. And then we've got Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids. I have no excuse except that your show is so much fun. My answer is 2000s. He's going. Tyler sticks with a joke. I have a lot of respect for people that do that. And I also like people that beat a joke into the ground and it becomes extra funny. But Tyler says, my answer is 2000s and one A Beaver Odyssey. Hal, the badass ship's computer. Yeah, Hal was a badass. No question about that. Tyler likes that beaver movie. It's a great movie. Hundreds of beavers, folks. If you haven't checked it out, Wisconsin born and bred, great film. Crushed at the box office for an indie. Chris on the text line, she's listening in the 773, I assume in Chicago, or maybe she's a transplant. Doesn't matter. Undisputed. Bruce Lee, big screen badass. Great one, Chris. Love Bruce Lee. Barb in Waukesha says Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis and Thelma and Louise love their encounter with the perverted truck driver. Yes. God, I love this. See, this is why we have a great information exchange, because I forget about a lot of these. Right, Conrad?
Oh, yeah.
Still with me? He's looking for another Joe Dirt reference he can shoehorn into the conversation. All right, we'll read more of your texts when we, as the show progresses. Coming up next, all the way from Door County, out there in the suburbs of Green Bay, artist Shane McAdams joins the program to talk about this really cool art festival. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. A Mishicot teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a student now faces federal charges of child pornography. 2 federal counts of producing child pornography were added to the 19 charges that 37-year-old Ryan Schrader already faces in state court. A criminal complaint alleges Schrader knowingly employed, induced, and coerced a minor to engage in sex acts to be recorded and distributed. No court date is listed for the federal case. He's scheduled to appear in Manitowoc County Court for a scheduling conference on the state charges on June 17th. The number of tornadoes that ripped through Dodge County last week is still going up. Here's Stuart J. Waddles.
It took a few days, but another twister was confirmed around here. The National Weather Service has verified another tornado in Dodge County from the severe storms last week. That raises the total number in southern Wisconsin to 8. The tornadoes caused major damage in communities like Mayville, Juneau, and Horicon. Dodge County was especially hard hit, with 6 tornadoes confirmed within its borders.
As rates of overdose deaths decline across the country, Wisconsin saw one of the largest drops in 2024. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recently announced that overdose deaths dropped 27% nationwide last year. According to their data, Wisconsin saw the third largest decline of any state in the country, dropping 36% in 2024. State officials have routinely cited programs created through the opioid settlement money for the improving overdose numbers, especially the use of harm reduction tools like Narcan. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. When you've got a 38-year-old franchise, even the main character's kids would be too old for this. Even though it's become one of the most tired franchises ever, Lethal Weapon is giving birth yet again to sequel number 5. 69-year-old cranky Mel Gibson will direct the new flick and reprise his role as Martin Riggs, and 78-year-old Danny Glover is back as Murtaugh. Sure, this sounds really uninteresting, but before you judge, let me just say this is not your father's Actually, it is. Speaking of Part 5s, not sure Toy Story needed a 3 or 4, much less a 5, but it's happening, and it just got a little funnier with the addition of new cast member Conan O'Brien. That's right, the former late night host and the MC of the last and next Oscars will play a character called Smarty Pants in the new chapter. Variety reports that the new film sees Buzz, Woody, and Jesse's jobs being challenged by electronics. Toy Story 5 is scheduled to hit theaters June 19th, 2026. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This report sponsored by the City of Marinette, home of the Queen Marinette Run the River Powerboat Races, June 7th and 8th. More details at fishonmarinette.com.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A lingering shower or two tonight, cloudy sky and a low in the mid-40s. Sunshine returns for Thursday and Friday, highs of 60 to 65. And we'll stay in the 60s through the weekend and into Memorial Day, a slight chance of rain each day. Currently 49 degrees.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly.
Freedom Town Chair and Director of Parks for Outagamie County, Justin Schumacher. Do you think the bureaucracy is responding to the needs of the people?
No, I think if it was responsive, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. That doesn't mean we burn the entire system down. How do we solve it? Get involved. Join your Parks Committee. Recognize where we're not good and improve it.
The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show, Saturday and Sunday afternoons at 3 on WGBW and WISS and the Civic Media app. Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, habeas corpus.
Schwaba. Great to have you here tonight, folks. This is the Civic Media Radio Network, and we are barreling through this week as we get close to a holiday weekend. Dave on the stream says Reacher is his favorite movie or TV badass. And you could go both, because Reacher, I like both of them. I like that Alan Ritchson is closer to the hero in the book, but I love the Tom Cruise version as well. So that's a good one. And then Chris said, I'm a guy. So you catch that, Conrad?
Yeah, I think you messed it up every time.
Yeah, I know a girl named Chris who spells it like that, so I made this assumption, Chris, so I apologize for that, but thank you for the text either way, and I will remember now because your last name is different than my friend's, so I have no excuse now moving forward. Okay, Bruce Jarko coming up at 7:05. Bruce is a great actor, and he was good pals with George Wendt, so we'll talk to Bruce about his loss and George Wendt's legacy. But right now, I'm very excited to welcome my next guest. His name is Shane McAdams. He's an artist, and he is also the director, or co-director, I should say. Co-director. I don't want to leave anybody out. Of the Door County Contemporary Art Fair, which takes place June 5th through the 8th, just down the road here in Door County from downtown Green Bay. Great to have you here, Shane.
Well, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, So you're staying in Door County right now. We've established you live in the Milwaukee area.
Yes.
But you got a little crib up there for the festival?
Crib. That's a funny way to put it. Well, so the fair will be at the Peninsula School of Art, which is in Fish Creek.
Yeah.
And they're kind of an art school. It's been around for a long time.
Right.
And they have a little, I don't know, pied-à-terre, a little ranch house that we can stay in across the way. So we stay there when we have, and if I need nicer accommodation. I think we have an Airbnb for like for our war room days. Like when the fair is actually happening, I think we want something with a kitchen island that we can kind of operate from.
Sure.
It's a little more Spartan. So
chop some
so we do that.
vegetables.
But yeah, I've been going up a lot in my history of like, I started teaching there, teaching classes, and that's how this whole thing kind of emerged through like a teaching relationship with the school. And so I would stay there. And as we go into this, like I think I associate it with teaching and being there in the summer. So I think we'll probably do something a little bit more comfortable.
So you don't live there, but it sounds like you spend a considerable amount of time in Door County with teaching and the art fair and all that.
I do. It's a place. Sorry, verklempt here, Pete.
Yeah, okay.
All that talk about movies,
grit and raspiness.
all that talk about movies.
I
wanted into that last segment really bad. No, so Door County for me, I'm an implant. I came here from Brooklyn. My wife is from Wisconsin, so I went to Door County as this kind of like, what is this weird leisure spot that you guys like to go to? And I always called it like a poor man's Cape Cod, which is, sorry, Wisconsin, but it was like that. It was cotton candy, caramel, that kind of thing.
Right.
Summer spot. But I went with my kids and I imprinted on it as just a real kind of basic tourist. And as I started teaching there, it got deeper and deeper and deeper in terms of the art thing. So it's evolved from me just kind of strip mining it for my own pleasure to something that I think of as a great site to bring art and culture and kind of connect with people that are up there that want something deeper.
I'm not mad at you, Shane. I just want to get that out right away.
You are.
But poor man's Cape Cod. I know I've heard that a lot, and I don't like Wisconsinites say that. I'm like, be your own thing. Like for a while, Milwaukee was the Portland of the Midwest. I'm just be Milwaukee.
It's a terrible thing. Sometimes you're doing it. It's like when you have like a bad analogy that's kind of crass, but you use it just to get the point across.
Right.
And I do that because some people are like, what is this thing called Door County? And you go, well, and then people go, oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
less pretentious,
pulled
though.
taffy and
It's beautiful. I love Door County. And when I first reached out to you, I thought, oh, this lucky guy gets to live in Door County and run this art fair. And here you are living in Milwaukee, which is also a lovely town.
I live in Cedarburg, which is,
Did
if
you
you know
say that on the phone?
anything, which in Cedar,
Okay.
I think we may have spoken about it, but Cedarburg, and if you ask Cedarburgians, they would say that it is not a suburb of Milwaukee. It's its own like special kind of unique place. And I would agree, as someone that I feel is fairly unbiased, as someone that just kind of plopped in, parachuted in 12 years ago when my daughter was born. It's a unique place.
Yeah.
It's when I bring people there, they look down the main street that's downtown, and there's an old movie theater and a caramel apple shop. People go, that's something. That's not your typical suburb.
No, absolutely not. And I didn't, I've heard really great things about Cedarburg too, but let me ask you this, like you say you're from Brooklyn, and I believe you. Is that where you got your art chops, so to speak?
Yeah, it's like where one goes to get their art chops. A little bit like music, or if you were in, you're an actor that wanted to be in film. All roads kind of go through LA for that.
Sure.
And New York is a little bit like that too, and that kind of brings us into like why we're doing this fair. You can be an artist from the Midwest and probably make it into the canonical art world, but you still kind of have to get stamped in New York a little bit, or LA. And I feel like we're in a world that's kind of decentralizing with social networks and a lot of things are doing that. Yeah. Talking about films and food is doing that. When I was a kid, like there were people in New York that went to La Grenouille, and then there was me going to like Godfather's Pizza, but there wasn't a lot. And now it's like populated all the way in between those two things. I mean, there's a lot of spaces to go get higher end food that isn't necessarily under a metal dome. And I think that is, it's changing, and we're trying to kind of, like me from Brooklyn coming back here, we're trying to kind of ride that wave, or kind of to force the issue a little bit, because I don't think we need to be in Brooklyn anymore to do this necessarily, even though probably most of the economic and probably physical energy is there, but it is changing.
That's interesting. You said pizza, by the way. Was there a Mulberry Street in Brooklyn where you lived?
Yeah, well, not in Brooklyn. That is New York, right? That's Little Italy. Yeah. So I mean, I would be
that got me to migrate from, because I grew up, the first part of my childhood was in Chicago, and I liked the Chicago stuffed, but as I got older, I'm like, I can't eat that
It's
anymore.
a lot.
I found Mulberry when I was living in LA. Somebody brought it. I'm like, this is the best pizza.
Yeah.
Like, it's thin crust.
That's
New
fun.
York.
Well, Wisconsin pizza's like that too.
Yeah.
You can eat it and go out. I think that's why they do it, because it's like pub pizza.
Right.
Like you could have a lot of Wisconsin pizza and still go out for many nightcap.
You don't need a nap.
I've done so on Mulberry Street, like in Little Italy in New York. I remember once we went out and they do the courses, like the end is like the carne. They start out, you got antipasti, and you're expected to go through like 4 courses. And we went there for like someone's birthday. We were young and we were planning on drinking and making it a night. And I was like, well, let's do this right. So by carne, I'm like asleep. I'm like, I have no blood left in my head. It's all in my gut. So, yeah.
Great stuff. Well, tell us about the art fair itself. It's the Door County Contemporary Art Fair. What can people expect when they go there? Is there a certain time? Is there a theme, or is there food there? In Wisconsin, we love food at our festivals.
Sure. Well, so this isn't a public radio station, so I'm going to walk back. It tends to be like, the art world is on that kind of crunchier side of the spectrum.
Okay.
And there's a distinction between what would be like an art festival, which would be some like white tents and people selling their wares. This is kind of a thing in the art world. Like if you've heard of Art Basel, Miami, or there's these big art fairs, and they're galleries that represent artists. So they would be like build out spaces. When you go there, it will be 20 galleries in physical spaces that we build out. So it's much more kind of structural, much more like a much bigger lift to make it happen than to just like put out some tables. So it's a little bit, I would say, higher end. These words are really dangerous, because the whole idea is to make it elevated, but it's not pretentious. It's approachable.
But open to people.
Open to people, sure.
Right.
I mean, what I'm always trying to do is build connections, because I'm a Midwestern kid. I mean, I went to school in Brooklyn, but I'm from Kansas City.
Okay.
And so I grew up, like, I would say humble. Like my parents didn't have art. And then I kind of got, anointed into this like world that was outside of where I came from. And my desire was to have, like, ultimately have all the kind of sophistication and cultivation of one end, but not turn into, jerks.
Yeah.
And that's always
totally
been the problem. Is like, when you walk into a really nice restaurant, it's like, give me good food, but don't give me attitude.
Right.
And that's kind of what it is. So anyway, so we have 20 galleries, and they're very, very amazing, respectable galleries from around the Midwest.
Okay.
Kansas City galleries, Nashville, Minneapolis,
Is that
Chicago.
how they're differentiated or broken up into?
You'll see like a gallery will say Hair and Nails, which is a great gallery from Minneapolis. It will say Hair and Nails Minneapolis. So it'll give you kind of a breakdown of the geography. And that was the goal of the whole thing. And that's the goal going forward, to do this year after year and make it kind of a gathering and a way to connect Midwest spaces, because the art world is fairly obscure. It doesn't mind being obscure.
Yeah.
So what happens is they tend to not connect that much, because they're trying to be underground. It's like punk rock.
Okay.
The art world at a certain end of it has a little bit of kind of gritty alternative punk rock spirit. And because of that, they tend to not to get together in like Davos conventions and, exchange business cards.
My guest is Shane McAdams. He is the co-director of the Door County Contemporary Art Fair, which runs June 5th through the 8th in Fish Creek. We have some of your paintings I'd like to show for people watching on the stream. Conrad, can we showcase some of your artwork? Would that be okay?
You may. I didn't know we were doing this, but this will be interesting for me to see.
I thought I wanted you to do like the moody artist thing where you go, no, I don't like my stuff being seen.
Do I seem like a moody artist?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. You know what you seem like? I'm looking at your outfit though, Shane, and I'm going, why don't I wear jackets like that on the air, Conrad? I mean, I wear a nice shirt typically, but would it kill me to dress up a little bit?
Pete, you look very presentable.
You're just saying that. All right, let's see some of Shane's work on the stream. If you're on the stream, check this out. And oh, wow. What are we looking at there?
So I use lots of very unnatural materials to make work that kind of produces itself through processes and procedures. And so that's Elmer's glue, doing very natural organic things, but it's very unnatural stuff. So
But what is it on? Is it just
it's
like
on a panel?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny because to see it here, it's, it's by my door as I left today.
Oh, it probably doesn't capture. I know we're just on this little
That's
stream
fine,
here, but
yeah.
let's see another one, Con. Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool. I saw that one earlier.
styrofoam sprayed with. So I put acetone, which is like nail polish
Okay.
remover, on a rag, and I let it soak into foam.
Huh.
So it's like lots of really unnatural things to kind of mimic natural processes in the world.
Yeah. That looks like the bottom of like the ocean floor.
That's what
when
I'm
you
saying.
first, yeah,
Like
I think that's
the
so
idea
cool.
is to take something really kind of stupid and unnatural and have someone kind of marvel at it as if it was, the most natural thing in the world.
Who are your influences, Shane? When
Oh,
like,
goodness,
are you trying to like? Do you have
my influences are, weird things in the world, like bread. You
Okay.
look at bread and you're
Not
like,
other artists?
Yeah, no, but I take a lot from, I'm ecumenical. I try to get lots of stuff from lots of weird places, talking to people like you, talking to weirdos. Like, honestly.
Can you do something with this shirt? Maybe
Yeah, I probably make that into something.
It's amazing. I've had a couple friends on. I started in stand-up comedy, and a couple of my friends have branched off, and they're like selling art now for like a lot of money. And I'm just like, I hate
expensive.
people like that.
Art's expensive.
Can't be successful at two different mediums.
Some people are,
I don't like them. All right, Shane McAdams is here. We're coming right back after a very quick break to talk more about the Door County Contemporary Art Fair, which takes place June 5th through the 8th. This is Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Smash a Mercedes-Benz. First we run, and then we laugh till we cry. But when the night is falling, you cannot find the light. You feel your dreams are dying. Hold tight.
Reach, engage, grow with Civic Media. Log on civicmedia.us/advertise.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's ALL to 321-321.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
When a parent sees their child smile, they see hope. Aleem hoped that his son Rajib would have an easier life than he had. You see, Rajib, just like his father, was born with a cleft. But thanks to Smile Train, both father and son received free, life-changing surgeries, transforming their smiles into symbols of hope. To learn more and support the Global Cleft community, visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
I would love to shower at a truck stop. Love to eat at a truck stop. Watch TV at a truck stop. I'm fine with that part.
I think there's not good stuff that happens at truck stops. I don't know, John.
I would be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. You write me.
Right, a postcard.
Do you have a stamp?
Mino and the Mayor, weekday morning 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS. The Todd Albaugh Show.
I'm as guilty as anybody about this, not talking to real people in person. I'm sorry, I don't believe that texting or video conferencing or any other that jazz can supplement one-on-one interaction. We as humans need other humans. We need to connect with people. So anyway, that's the public service announcement to start off the week. Get outside and talk to real live humans. You'll feel better.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app.
Get off home. I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night. I hope I'm saying this right. Malaya in the 608 says Cillian Murphy or Adrian Brody in Peaky Blinders. Was Adrian Brody in Peaky Blinders?
I didn't even know
I watched
that.
the first season. He may have joined the cast afterwards, but those are both good badasses. John from Columbia County, he's in the 608. He says Jesse Wales, real badass. No question about that. There's your Clint Easthouse. Conrad, that's your dad's.
Who's that guy?
Brian from Green Bay says the iceberg in Titanic was a good badass. Very well done. Keep those texts coming, folks. We have a guest in the studio I'm enjoying very much talking to. His name is Shane McAdams. He is the co-director of the Door County Contemporary Art Fair, which runs June 5th through the 8th. And talk a little bit about the Peninsula School of Art. That's pretty cool. You mentioned it before, but are those classes open to people is it a club? Is it an actual school?
I teach classes with resin and alternative materials, but they have watercolor classes, jewelry, all kinds of interesting options. And because they teach so many classes, I think when we approached them with the art fair as this kind of strange idea, because this is the first contemporary art fair that's been in Door County. I mean, they have some arts and crafts festivals, but they were really excited because it kind of broadened their offerings and made connections and with different kinds of people, because a lot of people are going to come from Minneapolis and Chicago for this, because people that are art collectors tend to travel for this kind of stuff. So it'll be a different mix of people than, whoever's taking the watercolor classes. But yes, of course, anyone's welcome to take classes there. And the teachers are great. So
you have I've heard for years that Door County has a great artist community.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found that as an artist? You don't live there, but you spent enough time there. Is that a good place to be if you're an artist?
It does. I mean, it does have a great artist community
and a beautiful setting,
of course,
yeah.
And it attracts people that like kind of sensory aesthetic things, because it's beautiful. It's a great like spirit and atmosphere to make anything in, but it tends to be, I would say, without being disparaging, more decorative, more probably, prone to being representational, which would be like pictures or paintings about things that you see, and less conceptual.
Okay.
And that when you see contemporary art, it's often, more abstract, maybe using materials differently, different kinds of forms. And so when you come to our art fair, you're going to see things that aren't going to be just a watercolor of like a bay.
Yeah.
So you'll see different things. And my belief is, honestly, in the art world, and this is the problem, I'm trying to kind of do this, broker a deal between these two different art worlds. There's lots of people that like to paint watercolors of setting suns. And then on the other side, there's this other thing where people like to make really conceptual work, out of found materials. And the truth is, in the art world, we're competing against other entertainments that I think are much less delicate and flatter and blunter and dumber. And I think we all need to kind of be on the same page, because, it's not a world that's big enough and powerful enough to start balkanizing,
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm always about, because I mean, the thing is, I do respect someone that's a great watercolorist, but I also like conceptual art. And the truth is, if you imagine art as being kind of just a general embodiment or reflection of everything you like in humanity. Like you meet lots of different kinds of people, funny people, gregarious people, you need people that are super responsible, and you don't go in and write someone off because they're responsible but not funny. I mean,
Right.
everyone serves a purpose, and that's what I think about like a watercolor. Like sometimes I love it, but sometimes I want something really weird because I'm in a weird mood,
Yeah.
And I think instead of looking for something that has meaning or an answer is very like objective, you go, well, it's just like people. I know all kinds of people that give me all
Right.
kinds of weird things, and as long as that person's authentic and being who they are, you can just appreciate that for that.
Listen, dude, I love being around people that I don't ever know what's coming out of their mouth. Those people, to me, are the true entertainment in life, and those are the characters. I mean, as a writer, I want to write about. Maybe you want to paint or build a sculpture or something. Like, I'm totally with you.
I often say, just let me say this, is that art to me, and art, I mean, across all arts, is the potential to be surprised. Because half the world is trying to make everything predictable. Like Costco doesn't want you to be surprised. They want to know what you're doing. They want to run algorithms on us. And I'm not some crazy Marxist. That's just the truth. I think like the world would be really crappy if we didn't have supply chains that were getting peanut butter around.
Right.
But you need to save like comedy and vacations and art and all these other things that we value to be totally improvised and unpredictable. That's what art is. The art is the possibility of being surprised by something. And so when you go to an art fair, you're going to get surprised. Hopefully you get surprised. So some of it won't be a good surprise, but sometimes you'll find the exact thing that you want.
Just to clarify, can I still shop at Costco and take advantage of the big savings?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that out there.
I'm not like an
anti-Costco guy. Yeah. All right. So we got about a minute left. Unfortunately, Shane, this has been a lot of fun, but you're an Alexander Payne fan when it comes to movies.
Who isn't though?
I love them. But
what's
give us
the best one?
Oh
God. I'm the Sideways guy.
I like Sideways a lot. Loved Citizen Ruth. I probably have to go Election because it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Sideways does too.
Yeah. I think Sideways. Yeah. I use it in my class and I'll be really quick because it's that it is perfection for art. This is art, right?
Yeah.
Is perfection a thing, an objective thing, or is it a context? And I'm a guy, I believe in context. Like the right thing in the right place. Like
comparing it to the wine.
The wine.
The way
like if
they
you
talk
have the
about
right
wine,
wine with the right people and the right sunset, wine is perfect. It's not something you put a 99
Yeah.
and get it absolutely like it's in a vacuum.
All right, we have to do this again so we can draw this discussion out a little bit
Anytime.
more. I would love to talk. We could spend a whole segment just on Alexander Payne, and I haven't done that yet, Conrad. So we got to do that. We'll do this again.
Sounds good.
Good luck. Break a leg with the Art Fest.
Thank you, and great pleasure. Thank you, Pete.
My pleasure. All right, that's Shane McAdams. Check out the Door County Contemporary Art Fest, June 5th through the 8th. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nightlight. We're coming back after intermission with Bruce Jarkle, a fine actor and a good friend of George Wentz, who's going to tell us about his buddy. That's all coming up next. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Turn back now. I believe I'm falling.
This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Tonight or tomorrow, there could be a vote on the multi-trillion-dollar budget measure in the House. After meeting with his most conservative fellow Republicans about it, who want more Medicaid and other cuts, Speaker Mike Johnson.
And we had a good discussion. I think we're in a very good place. I think that all of our colleagues here will really like this final product, and I think we're going to move forward.
Some Democratic congressmen calling the bill a big tax scam. President Trump at the White House with the South African president showed a video and media clippings alleging genocide of white farmers in that country. President Cyril Ramaphosa pointing out there's no proof and denying it, then alluding to the gift by Qatar of a jumbo jet to Mr. Trump.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I would take it.
The Pentagon confirms that Elon Musk was at the Pentagon today and met with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to discuss artificial intelligence. A down day on Wall Street. This is ABC News.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. A former tennis coach in the greater Green Bay area was sentenced to 15 years in prison for taking upskirting videos of minors he was coaching. 41-year-old Joshua Denault pleaded no contest to 4 counts of child sexual exploitation filming and 2 counts of child enticement. 12 other counts were dismissed as part of a plea deal. When he's released from prison, he'll have to register as a sex offender and spend another 20 years on extended supervision. The next generation of people making sure we stay on the air are being trained right here in Oshkosh. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Starting next fall, UW Oshkosh will offer a specialized track in broadcast engineering, the first of its kind in Wisconsin. A statement says the new emphasis was designed with input from industry leaders. A partnership with Madison College will allow students to enter the workforce after 2 years or transfer to complete their bachelor's degree. Thanks in advance to the graduates.
Appeals Court Judge Chris Taylor announced her run for the Wisconsin Supreme Court yesterday. Taylor has served as a judge in Dane County and represented Madison in the state assembly. She told Civic Media's Maggie Dawn show Tuesday that having been a legislator makes her a better judge.
I understand the legislative process. A lot about what judges do is interpret the law. We have to know legislative intent. We have to look at statutes very closely. So I really think it makes me a unique candidate in that way. I have looked at the law from so many different angles.
Justice Rebecca Bradley's term is up next year. She has already announced that she will seek re-election. If Bradley wins, the court's liberal majority will remain at 4-3. If Taylor wins, the majority would increase to 5-2. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Brewers surrender to the Orioles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, Milwaukee's Caleb Durbin tied it up in the 9th, but top of the 11th, the Orioles' Adley Rutschman drove the ball deep into left field on the Orioles TV network.
So he didn't get a great jump off of first base. Get up, ball.
Deep to left, Adley Rutschman toward the wall. It's gone! An ice-breaking 3-run shot. Adley Rutschman goes right on left, goes out to left, and the Orioles have opened it up here in the 11th.
His 14th RBI, and the Orioles have busted it wide open here in the top of the 11th.
The Brewers running out of arms at the end of the game. Trevor McGill, Tyler Alexander ended up losing 8-4 today at AmFam Field. The Crew missing out on the sweep, but winning the series 2-1. The Orioles snapping an 8-game losing streak. Up next, the Crew heads to Pittsburgh for a 4-game weekend series against the Pirates. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A lingering shower or two tonight, cloudy sky and a low in the mid-40s. Sunshine returns for Thursday and Friday, highs of 60 to 65. And we'll stay in the 60s through the weekend and into Memorial Day, a slight chance of rain each day. Currently 49 degrees.
Todd Alba.
Hey, everybody, join us next time as we continue on the road this week, live from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, home of WCFW, The Tap, talking about conservation and more. Join us.
The Todd Alba Show, weekdays 2 to 4. Dr. Kristen Lyerly.
Freedom Town Chair and Director of Parks for Outagamie County, Justin Schumacher. Do you think the bureaucracy is responding to the needs of the people?
No, I think if it was responsive, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. That doesn't mean we burn the entire system down. How do we solve it? Get involved. Join your Parks Committee. Recognize where we're not good and improve it.
The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show, Saturday and Sunday afternoons at 3 on WGBW and WISS and the Civic Media app.
I used to smoke. I thought of cigarettes as my best friend.
They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who's had a paper route for 25 years but never collected, Pete Schwaba.
Well, welcome back to Nightlight, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start Act 2. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday, which really feels like a Thursday. As we get closer to the long weekend, we will not be here Friday night, but we do have an original show. It is still a bar band Friday night. And if you want to respond to tonight's question, who is your favorite movie or TV badass? Let me know soon, please, because we have pre-recorded content that we'll play after the news at 7:35 with our pal Logan Rogie from Travel, Wisconsin. So if you missed the first hour, we talked to Shane McAdams about the Door County Contemporary Art Fair, which is June 5th through the 8th. We had some fun talks about badasses, a little bit of George Wendt talk. We talked about the tush push, all kinds of stuff. You can find it all on the app at civicmedia.us. Right now, I'm very excited to welcome a good friend of mine to the show. He was sort of a guy I really looked up to because I knew I wanted to go into show business, and Bruce is a little bit older than me, and he was already there, and he's a very good friend, and he joins us now on the stream. Bruce, how are you?
Hello, Pete. How are you?
Great to hear your voice, buddy. I'm doing well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
First, let me say I'm very sorry for your loss. I knew you were friends with George Wendt, but I had no idea how close you guys were until I saw all your social media posts with great memories.
We formed a brotherhood, sisterhood kind of deal with that original company and the number of people that we worked with when we first got on the main stage at Second City, and even before that during workshops and touring companies and stuff. And it's still a close-knit group even to this day with Tim and Tim and George and I and Danny Breen, the late Danny Breen. Noni Newton is also in there, Audrey Neenan, a bunch of people that Tim Kazurinsky, of course, and Mary Gross. We're all in a state of shock, really, because it is like a brother passing.
Yeah. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss, Bruce, and I appreciate you taking out some time tonight. I mostly know George Wendt from Cheers, and he was so great. And I was reading a story about before you came on, before the show tonight, about how they found him, and he was on another show, and he auditioned, and they said, we like this guy so much, we're going to let him be on both shows, and the other one ended up getting canceled. But can you talk a little bit about, like, it must be so great to see when you come up with a group like that, and you develop this bond. What's it like when one of you has, like, success like that?
Well, it's first of all, we root for everybody. There's no real envy or anything going on. I think most of us took it as an opportunity to sponge off George now that he was going to be successful. In terms of, Nancy reminded me of, you can kind of follow George through his dedication to the barbecue. And we all knew that with the series regular on a primetime show, that the barbecue would be something rather special. And I even had the opportunity. He took me out barbecue shopping right after he got Cheers, and I went, really? I mean, I can just buy a Weber or something. Oh no, he's after the top of the line, the Cadillac of barbecues. And we went around to all of these hardware stores in the Valley out in California, and he couldn't make up his mind. And eventually I think he put it together himself. He got a bunch of modules that had like spigots for beer. He had a smoker. He had the greatest barbecue setup I've ever seen. And this comes from a guy who, when we first started out, and he had a lousy little apartment on Armitage Avenue in Chicago, and he invited Nancy and I over one February evening after a pretty late night. He says, come on over, Bernadette and I are going to fire up the barbecue. And I'm going, well, Jesus, George, there's like 3 feet of snow out there. And what he'd done was he had shoveled the snow. He'd shoveled a patch in his backyard and literally barbecued ribs at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And this was such a common occurrence for him. I think his neighbors thought that there was some sort of cult going on in his apartment. But he just kept buying better and better barbecues the more successful he got, and that's what we were all looking forward to, because he used to host a lot of parties.
It's those stories that I've seen on social media, and I had no idea how many friends of mine were friends of his, and that down to earth, very humble guy. He in an article I read yesterday, Bruce. George Wendt was quoted as again being very humble and saying he was I don't know if he was referring to the main stage at Second City or not, but he was there for 6 years, and he says he called himself the worst improver ever. Is that possible?
Well, I'm sure George is a lot better than the worst ever, but he did really enjoy those scenes where he didn't have too much dialogue. He could steal a scene just by mugging. He was his improvisation skills were his mugging, his little spit takes, his side takes, his reaction shots. He was a master at that. While he didn't, Tim was a master. Tim Kazurinsky was a master of the jumpy one-liners that'd save a scene. And George was the character who stole every scene just by looking at the audience funny, breaking the fourth wall, etc.
For those of you listening who don't know who Tim Kazurinsky is, I think Tim wrote About Last Night, but he was also in it, and he was very funny as John Belushi's friend, with the British accent, and it's just such a brilliant comedian. And you guys all are great. I was talking about your role earlier, Bruce, when you were on Seinfeld, and the doctor who diagnosed George's lip.
Yeah,
still cracks me up. Just a talented bunch of people. But George Wendt also, I thought this was great. He's, again, just showing what a humble Midwestern guy he is. He goes, anybody could have played Norm. Not true, obviously, but he said it was the writing on that show. They served up gems and they made everything easy. Like, that's just another testament to what a good dude he seems like he was.
Right. And also a testament to the show, too, because they saw in George someone that they could write for. And it's really every actor's dream is to get on a show where the writers and the producers all understand your person, the type of work that comes so easily to you, and they write for that. And they did that on Cheers for George. It was a pleasure to watch him there. I mean, he was in his element. Jesus, he walks in the door, he says the funniest line in the show, sits down and pretends to drink a beer all day.
That's so great. My guest is actor, writer Bruce Jarko. He is joining us for a few minutes tonight to talk about his good friend, George Wendt, who just passed away a couple of days ago. I'm sure it doesn't even seem real still, Bruce, but this is so great that you guys, I didn't know this. I knew you were in My Bodyguard because when I was a kid and I saw this guy I had played wiffle ball or softball with in Three Lakes, Wisconsin in a movie, I was like, get out of here. How did that happen? It was magical. And I was reading yesterday, George Wendt is in that movie too. Did you guys have scenes together or were you there?
No, we didn't. Actually, Hollywood found Second City. This is shortly after Jane Byrne became the mayor and opened up Chicago to Hollywood productions. Mayor Daley and even Bilandic after him did not want any or much production. They made it very difficult for Hollywood to come to Chicago and start shooting movies. Jane Byrne said, fine, let's go. And, the Blues Brothers came and a bunch of other movies, but they started trying to find local talent in Chicago, and they knew it was here because we have a great number of actors in the just the local theaters are just boiling over with talent.
Right.
And they came to Second City, and they got me, they got Audrey, and they got George, and they got Tim, all for this movie called Somewhere in Time. And then there was My Bodyguard came around. That Somewhere in Time is with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
Yeah.
And
Mac
then
and
My Bodyguard came around with me and George and Tim, and there might have probably someone else from our company got in there too. But we were just like, we were being discovered,
Wow. That's fantastic.
On the main stage at the time.
Bruce, I still remember one of your lines in that movie when Chris Makepeace gets out of the limo and runs away, and you said, the cops don't even come to this neighborhood at night.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I remember asking somebody who was in the business. I said, "No, if you got one hint, what do I, one hint for being an actor on the set?" And the guy goes, "Make friends with the sound guy." I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, well, most actors are either too loud or too soft or something like that. You want to make sure that you're heard, but you're not like blowing everybody off the set. So make friends with the sound guy was my first bit of advice.
Well, it obviously paid off. Well done. Just as a personal thing, Bruce, when I lived in LA, and we would, and it was always fun. I would see you and Nancy at Gelson's, and I just love that, seeing a little bit of home out in LA. But we would trick or treat. Good friends of ours lived in Studio City, just down the street from, I believe George Wendt lived there, because he would open the door sometimes and hand out candy. This is Norm from Cheers, and Jimmy Kimmel's crew is walking through the neighborhood. It was just a festive atmosphere. And or George Wendt's kids were opening in, they were messing with the kids and having fun. It just seemed there was such a great vibe from the whole family.
He made sure that he was surrounded by fun. He put in he put in a basketball court at one point, and poor guy, he put in a basketball court shortly before his knees started to give out, so he couldn't shoot around, but everybody else came over and either swam in his pool or shot baskets in his backyard. Or then he was mostly by the barbecue. What am I talking about? So,
yeah, right. We've got about a minute left. Bruce, again, really appreciate your time. I know you're going through kind of a difficult time right now.
It's hard, but you know what, Pete? Whenever we get together and we talk about Georgia, we're all like sad and heavy-hearted and everything, but immediately a funny story will pop in and everybody will be laughing within 15 seconds of getting together. There'll be something about what George did. We were there when George did this, and George had a way of this and that, and it would just crack us all up. And so we'd be laughing by the end. We're supposed to be sitting there crying, but we end up laughing.
That's so great. And it's just what it's all about. It's magical, how someone's memories stay with you, and you're just so thankful that you knew this person. That's just so great. Are you guys doing your stage show still?
Yeah, we did it. We did it again in New York. Here, we did it down in the East Village, and we're looking to do it. I know we're talking with some other theaters now that we can get a kind of a continual gig to do it. It's kind of tough schlepping it around on one night stands. So we're going to look for a place that we can maybe do it 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay. Been there, still there. I can't wait to see it. I know you guys took it to Chicago, I think last summer, but you got to bring it to Wisconsin, man. Bring it to the
Madison
people.
Would be a perfect place for it. I got a friend that lives there, and I think, he couldn't produce it, but we could call him a producer and then he could make some calls. So maybe we could, get him involved.
Bruce, say hi to Nancy. Thank you again, buddy. Hang in there. And thank you, Bruce. Okay, that's Bruce Jarko. One of the few, not few, but a handful of people who was appeared on Seinfeld multiple times, and such a talented guy, Bruce Jarko, and a great guy all around. So we got some text to read. If you want to get in a text on who is your favorite movie or TV badass, get that in quick, because we will not be reading texts after the news at the bottom of the hour. Hey, this is fun, folks. We're talking art. We're going to talk travel after the news. We talked a little bit about George Wendt, and more to come. We're coming right back after this short break. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It will soon be your tomorrow. I don't ask for much, I only want just, and you know it don't come easy. And this love of mine keeps growing over time, and you know it just ain't easy.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matt Nair on Air.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
We believe your stories matter, because here at WGBW, your stories are our stories too. Our award-winning news team of Lisa Hale, Brittany Merlot, and Terry Barr cover the issues that affect your life every day, the stories that shape your world. You'll hear it on the air, read it online, and see it on social media, wherever you are. Real news, great conversation, 97.9 WGBW, connected to you and your community.
Whoever said buying a pint can't be charitable? Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And this Thursday from 4:30 till 6:30 p.m. at McFleischman's Brewing Company in Appleton, you can make a difference just by buying a couple pints. The Fox Valley Pride Planning Committee's teammates are going to be taking over the taps to raise funds for this year's Fox Valley Pride Festival. There's a food truck on site, and you can stay for trivia. Check it out. Go to WGBW.FM and click events.
As a fellow veteran, we understand what it means to serve on a team. A suicide on a team is devastating and a real risk for veterans. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out now. Reach out WIS.org for local resources available to you and your loved ones.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
Teachers are diverse, skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Teaching shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Welcome back to Nightlight, folks. I am Pete Schwaba, your ever-loving host. Helming the ship tonight, Conrad Krieger, the kid riding shotgun. I cannot forget to read your mom's text, Conrad, because your mom texted.
Yeah.
Your dad and I have been in lockstep a lot lately with the text. Your mom and I feel a disconnect. I don't want to make more of a touchy situation, but she said something about me.
Yeah, she doesn't like you.
I love putting you on the spot. Paula Krieger, Conrad's mom, says Emma Watson as Hermione. Am I saying that right? I didn't see that. Hermione? What is that word?
Hermione.
Hermione?
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I got to go to the Google. Who is that?
That is
one of those Odyssey characters.
Oh, man, that is one of the main characters in Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, of course. Okay. That's how you spell that?
Yeah.
That's like Katniss.
Hermione.
Hermione. Okay. So Conrad's mom says Emma Watson as Hermione, also aka Hermione, if that is her real name, and Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter. Oh, so your mom loves the Harry Potters.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Thank you, Paula. Who do you align more with when it comes to movies or TV, your mom or your dad?
I'd probably say my mom, I feel like, because my dad likes to watch those old Westerns type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really. And he also watches the same movie he's watched Shawshank Redemption probably 100 times.
God, that's such a great movie. I don't know if I'd watch it that much. At the end, I love. Like, it's hard to watch in some parts, but I love it. But I'm with you on the Westerns. I remember my dad growing up and talking about, Gunsmoke or whatever it is. And even some of the Western movies, even the Clint Eastwood ones, I try to watch them in that era, but I don't know. Doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too slow or what.
Clint Easthouse, I don't know. I just don't.
I do agree with Steady Eddie, though. Clint Eastwood is a great movie badass. And Steady Eddie from the 608 says, Pete, my favorite movie badass, Dirty Harry. I'll never forget the iconic line from the movie Dirty Harry when Clint Eastwood's character, a veteran, hard-boiled, no-nonsense cop with his gun pointed, squinted, and a low, menacing growl, spoke the immortal badass words, "Go ahead, punk. Make my day." Eddie continues, I don't think he actually said the word punk, but he should have. Look at that. Steady Eddie rewriting a historic movie. That takes brass guts. That's impressive. Thank you, Steady Eddie. I hope I read that, how Steady Eddie meant for it to be read when he texted it. Jim from Appleton says, George Papard, a real badass. Whoops, lost the text there for a minute. Yeah, real badass. Banachek, The A-Team, House of Cards, Pork Chop Hill, How the West Was Won, Tobruk, and many more. Boy, I don't even know a couple of those films, Jim. I totally agree, though. George Papard he would have slipped through the cracks. Great badass and great text, Jim. Thank you. Sydney from Oregon says, Paddington Bear from Paddington.
Love it.
Hey, man, look, it's a term that what's badass could be anything.
Paddington 2, one of the best movies ever, right?
Well, according to Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage in that movie, yeah. Barb from Waukesha says Al Pacino and Scarface. That's a great one too, Barb. I will say this about Al Pacino. This was in the news. Spike Lee likes to mix things up, and he said that Denzel Washington deserved the Oscar for Malcolm X, not Al Pacino for Scent of a Woman. I agree. I don't like when actors win an Oscar. And look, Al Pacino is great in everything. But not everything. But he's a great actor. I think there have been times in his career when he's mailed it in. I know. Who am I to say? I'm just a guy with an opinion. I'm a fan like everybody else. But I do agree. I thought Denzel Washington was better. And that year, in particular, when he won for Scent of a Woman, I was like, come on. This guy's done so many other great things. You're giving him an Oscar for Scent of the Woman. That hoo-ha! Like, over the top. So I agree with Spike Lee on that. So what do you think about that, folks? Fight me on it. Craig Knitt on the stream says, I know he did a lot to ruin his reputation, but one of my favorite movie badasses is Mel Gibson as Mad Max. I'm with you on Anton Chigurh as well, though. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, we're in a politically polarized time in our history right now. Some people can't watch. Like, I've heard so many people canceling Bruce Springsteen on the right. Oh, I never liked his music. He's always sucked. No, he hasn't. You're just annoyed. And people do the same thing with Mel Gibson. I do think Mel Gibson is a little crazy, but I'm not turning off one of his movies. If he's in Mad Max or another movie he was in called Edge of Darkness, where he plays a Boston cop, he's great. And he has a good badass. Thank you, Craig. PJ on the stream says Keanu Reeves as Neo in The Matrix. Nice, PJ. Boy, that's a good one. I wouldn't have thought of that either. Or John Wick, too.
Yeah, I was going to say John Wick, but I don't know. I like Harrison Ford more.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we have pre-recorded content coming up after the news here at the bottom of the hour. I will say I think we'll close out this segment with a couple George Wendt quotes. Or quotes about him, I should say. George Wendt, it was the only cast member who did all 275 episodes of Cheers. That's a ton of episodes for a live action sitcom. He was the only one. The Hollywood Reporter said, I am devastated to hear that, I don't know who this is actually, but it was in the Hollywood Reporter. I am devastated to hear that Georgie is, this is Ted Danson, of course. I forgot to write the most important part down. Ted Danson said, I am devastated to hear that Georgie is no longer with us. I am sending all my love to Bernadette and the children. It's going to take me a long time to get used to this. I love you, Georgie. This is great. And I could even tell Bruce was struggling a little bit when we were talking to him. So I really do appreciate him coming on. That could not have been easy. But yeah, great stuff. And I am celebrating George Wendt, even though I didn't know him, because he brought so much laughter. Great stuff. Carla from Baraboo says, Bruce Willis in Blind Date. Very interesting. A badass. That's outside the box. I like that, Aunt Carla. She's been a stranger.
Yeah.
All right. Good to have you back, Aunt Carla. We're coming up next after the bottom of the hour news with Logan Rogie from Travel Wisconsin. We will see you tomorrow night live, but stay tuned. This is a great interview with Logan. He gives me a quiz. Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Tonight or tomorrow, there could be a vote on the multi-trillion-dollar budget measure in the House. After meeting with his most conservative fellow Republicans about it, who want more Medicaid and other cuts, Speaker Mike Johnson.
And we had a good discussion. I think we're in a very good place. I think that all of our colleagues here will really like this final product, and I think we're going to move forward.
Some Democratic congressmen calling the bill a big tax scam. President Trump at the White House with the South African president showed a video and media clippings alleging genocide of white farmers in that country. President Cyril Ramaphosa pointing out there's no proof and denying it, then alluding to the gift by Qatar of a jumbo jet to Mr. Trump.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you, I wish you did. I take it. I would take it.
The Pentagon confirms that Elon Musk was at the Pentagon today and met with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to discuss artificial intelligence. A down day on Wall Street. This is ABC News.
The Brewers surrender to the Orioles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, Milwaukee's Caleb Durbin tied it up in the 9th, but top of the 11th, the Orioles' Adley Rutschman drove the ball deep into left field on the Orioles TV network.
He didn't get a great jump off of first base. Get up, ball.
Deep to left. Adley Rutschman toward the wall.
Yeah.
It's gone! An ice-breaking three-run shot. Adley Rutschman goes right on left, goes out to left, and the Orioles have opened it up here in the 11th.
His 14th RBI, and the Orioles have busted it wide open here in the top of the 11th.
The Brewers running out of arms at the end of the game. Trevor McGill, Tyler Alexander ended up losing 8-4 today at AmFam Field. The Crew missing out on the sweep, but winning the series 2-1. The Orioles snapping an 8-game losing streak. Up next, the Crew heads to Pittsburgh for a 4-game weekend series against the Pirates. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. If you're looking for a movie to watch, here's a Pete pick. As I might have mentioned, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning opens this weekend, so I thought I would give Dead Reckoning a rewatch, sort of a cinema stretch out before the big release. It's as good as I remembered it from 2 years ago. Cruise does battle with an AI-formed weapon called the Entity that can take on different forms. Esai Morales, Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames round out a great cast. Definitely worth a look before you head to the theater for The Final Reckoning. Singer Jessica Simpson ended her 15-year TV hiatus by performing, if not necessarily singing, on American Idol. The reviews were mostly negative, especially on social media, where everyone's a critic. Simpson belted out Nancy Sinatra's These Boots Are Made for Walkin' with Josh King on the season 23 finale Sunday night, and sang her new song, Blame Me, and they did. Simpson's performance was uninspired and looked unrehearsed, but at least she tried way too hard. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A lingering shower or two tonight, cloudy sky and a low in the mid-40s. Sunshine returns for Thursday and Friday, highs of 60 to 65. And we'll stay in the 60s through the weekend and into Memorial Day, a slight chance of rain each day. Currently 49 degrees.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
I'm as guilty as anybody about this, not talking to real people in person. I'm sorry, I don't believe that texting or video conferencing or any other of that jazz can supplement one-on-one interaction. We as humans need other humans. We need to connect with people. So anyway, that's the public service announcement to start off the week. Get outside and talk to real live humans. You'll feel better.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. Matt and Air on Air.
The Joint Finance Committee just had 4 meetings around the state of Wisconsin. The top 3 things of concern to people were education, healthcare, and childcare. The Republicans stripped all of those things out of Governor Evers' budget. So I'm thinking about going next time just to make sure that they all put their phones down when I'm talking to them, because I have a feeling they're all playing Candy Crush because they're not paying attention to what people are saying.
Catch Matt and Air on Air at its new time, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show.
Childcare is in crisis in Wisconsin. This week, I talked with the Sheboygan 4.
Welcome back. We are in a kind of a pre-record mode here. To get our next guest on, we had to pre-record, which we do from time to time here with various guests based on their availability, I suppose. So if you do send a text, we will read it tomorrow, but we will not be reading texts throughout the rest of the show, as this has been pre-recorded. And our next guest is totally worth it because he brings great information about our state and makes us feel proud to be Wisconsinites. He is the Senior Communications Specialist at Travel Wisconsin, who joins us here from time to time, Logan Rogie. Logan, welcome.
Thanks, Pete. It's a pleasure to be back on the program.
Likewise, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing well. You know, we're looking ahead to Memorial Day weekend, and that is the unofficial kickoff to summer. So there's a lot of fun stuff that is just about to get started. So I got some great summer travel ideas to share, including a fun game to get us started.
Listen, you mentioned this yesterday, a little fest or fiction quiz. And I usually give out quizzes on the show. We have a lot of fun with that. So I'm excited to take your quiz, and I will do my best and try not to embarrass the entire entity of Travel Wisconsin in doing so.
Well, it's an honor to be in the driver's seat on this quiz, Pete. Appreciate the opportunity to take the wheel here.
Absolutely.
So you're probably aware, Wisconsin, we're home to some truly inconceivable, borderline unbelievable festivals. And in honor of this upcoming summer festival season, I thought it would be fun to play one of our favorite games, Fest or Fiction. Listeners, if they want to play at home, they can do it at travelwisconsin.com/fest or fiction. And the premise is really simple. I'm going to say a name of festival, and you have to guess whether it's real, aka fest, or if it's made up, fiction. So are you ready to test your knowledge?
If Conrad's ready with the Google and can feed me answers, I am ready. I'm kidding. We don't do this. This is not a quiz show situation. I'm ready when you are, buddy. Bring it on. I feel good.
All right. Love the enthusiasm. First one. Sovereign State Days. Fest or fiction?
Oh, man. I'm going to say fiction.
Oh, that is a fest. It's a fest.
It sounds I don't know. Well, anyway, go ahead. Tell me what it is. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. It sounds a little unbelievable, but there's a backstory to this one. So you can travel to Winnebago County this summer for a community that honors a mapping heir that's 58 years old. Flashback to 1967, and the village of Winnacone was accidentally removed from the official state highway map. This had led to some local confusion, widespread attention, and the leaders of the village, they leaned into the mistake and playfully declared themselves a sovereign state. So don't worry, the impasse, it was ultimately resolved. They were restored to the map, but the community still celebrates this local lore each summer. So you can head to Winnacone the weekend of July 17th to the 20th for family fun at Sovereign State Days. You know, you'll enjoy food trucks, fireworks, kid-friendly activities, a parade, more. And don't worry about a future mapping issue either. The just released state highway map, they use GIS data this year, so it's the most precise map ever. You can order yourself a copy at travelwisconsin.com.
That's pretty cool. So they did it kind of tongue-in-cheek. So I can be forgiven for that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's a proper out. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
all right, you ready for number 2?
Absolutely. Lay it on me, Stretch.
The Leaping of the Lambs. Fest or fiction?
Fest.
Not quite. But you know what your next closest option is? That would be the roofing of the goats in Door County.
Oh, Al Johnson's, sure.
Yep. It's that annual event that honors the celebrities of Sister Bay. Of course, I'm talking about the goats of Al Johnson's Swedish restaurant, and that takes place June 14th this year. It starts out with, of course, a parade of goats through Sister Bay and culminates with the first roofing of the season. But, you know, they have all their festivities, kids' games, live music, great food, drinks, and a Swedish pancake eating contest.
And those are delicious. I feel like Leaping of the Lamb should be a festival. So if anyone out there wants to contact you,
if there's an enterprising radio host out there that wants to start a festival, I think they just got an idea.
All right, perfect. All right, I'm 0 for 2. This is embarrassing.
Okay, I think you'll get this one.
Okay.
Number 3, UFO days. Fest or fiction?
Fest.
Ding, ding, ding. Correct. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wisconsin has not one, but at least 2 UFO days that I'm aware of. One is this summer. That's in Northwest Wisconsin. It's Elmwood's UFO days. and that's the weekend of July 25th to the 27th. And the community is just honoring its local legend of being a hotspot for visiting aliens and UFOs. So you're going to want to dress up in your alien or astronaut costume. Be sure to get there for the grand parade. Many of the floats have a UFO inspired design to them. And then in the fall, the Dane County community of Belleville has its own UFO day. Again, they're honoring themselves as being a hotspot of UFOs. So visitors from this planet and others are welcome that last weekend in October to Belleville.
I don't blame aliens for coming to Wisconsin. We do have a great state, but I do find it interesting that they always hit rural areas. You never hear of a UFO sighting in Milwaukee, to my knowledge.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have to investigate this.
All right. We'll look into that. All right. I am 1 for 3. I'm just getting warmed up here. It's too bad you don't have more questions because I'm starting to feel it.
Well, I got one more if you're game.
Absolutely.
Okay. The Liechtenstein Lamboozle, fest or fiction?
I don't know what Lamboozle. I got to say fest.
That's fiction. I'm sorry.
If 1 for 4 was my batting average, I don't think I'd make it out of the major leagues, like past Double-A. That was embarrassing. I embarrassed myself.
250 is a respectable batting
I guess
average.
it's okay. Well, what is that?
But no,
what is that
sorry.
based on?
That Liechtenstein Lamboozle, yeah, that's an invention of my own alliteration-loving self. But no, you can celebrate Wisconsin's connection to Europe during Luxembourg Fest. So that takes place in the village of Belgium. That's in Ozaki County. And they were founded by Luxembourgish immigrants. And the community annually honors their connection to this small European nation with Luxembourg Fest. Actually, the royal family of Luxembourg have even been known to visit the village of Belgium from time to time.
Oh, really?
So you can join other folks August 7th to the 10th for cultural demonstrations and displays, authentic Luxembourgish dishes, and plenty of entertainment to fill the weekend.
I love it. And great job. Now we have a sense of how you think, though. I think if we ever do this again, I'm going to rally. And I think it'll be a little more of an actual adversarial thing, not a spanking like I just got.
I'm looking forward to round 2, Pete. They'll put it up on pay-per-view and everything.
My guest is Logan Rogie. He is the senior communications specialist at Travel Wisconsin. He does such a great there. The whole organization is a great advocate for our state. Obviously, you've got some other stuff. What have you been to a UFO days, Logan?
I actually have not, nor have I personally spotted UFOs, but I'd love to go and check it out.
Yeah, I have to say I'm fascinated. I know they have the occasional Sasquatch Fest, and I went to one of those a year ago, and it's fascinating to see how passionate people are. It's kind of fun. So what else? I know you've got other stuff to discuss for this summer. Let's try to bang through some of these. Wonders of Wisconsin. What's that?
Yeah, so the Wonders of Wisconsin is just this list of 10 natural and human-built wonders throughout the state that leave people really feeling wowed after they visit. And it's kind of those perfect destinations for a summer road trip. So think of Kohler Andre State Park. They have these ocean-like views from the sand dunes and the wide beaches. You can wander through the architectural genius at Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin. This season, they're actually debuting self-guided tours too. That's a brand new option. And you can check out our list of the Wonders of Wisconsin at travelwisconsin.com/wonders. I've personally been to 6 of the 10 wonders myself, and am really looking forward to crossing another off my list when I visit Apostle Islands this summer.
I have heard first of all, that's a place where I know you have to be there to experience it, but every picture I've seen of the Apostle Islands, I think is just spectacular. So I can't even imagine what it looks like. I would love to have you back on after you go see that, given the job you do. I think that would be really fascinating.
Yeah, I'd love to report back. I mean, it's, the special thing about that area, it's the natural beauty that gets people there. But then when they arrive, they realize it's a holistic experience. There's wonderful hospitality. There's great hotels like St. James Social, a new boutique hotel. great restaurants. They're known for their apple orchards, their art scene. So really just a ton happening in that Bayfield area.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I actually have not been there yet. All right, so moving through your list here, buddy, we've got astrotourism. I'm intrigued.
Okay, I figured that one was going to pique some interest.
Yeah.
So this is a trend that is based on experiencing starry skies and celestial events.
I love it.
So think stargazing and seeing the northern lights. It's basically treating yourself by getting out of the city, getting out of town, getting away from the light pollution, and enjoying some spectacular nighttime views. Condé Nast Traveler actually called astrotourism one of the biggest trends last year, and we have some really great places to do it in Wisconsin.
Would one of those places happen to be like the Three Lakes area, Logan? When I was a kid, we used to go up there from Chicago, and when you're in Three Lakes, Eagle River, there is not, like, Green Bay is probably the biggest decent sized town, and that's not even a huge town. The stargazing in that part of the state, at least back in the 80s, was incredible. Is that on your list anywhere in there?
You know, we're seeing communities around the state actually embrace this trend. We're seeing a lot of them do it through international dark sky park designations. So right now, Wisconsin is home to one of these international dark sky parks at Newport State Park. That's in Door County.
Okay.
But there's several more communities, including in the Northwoods, that are pursuing this designation. And essentially, that's just accrediting a community or an area for the lack of light pollution and exceptional stargazing. Like, top ones that come to mind for me is the Kickapoo Valley Reserve in the Driftless area in southwest Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
The Copper Falls State Park that's in Ashland County. They're also pursuing dark sky designation. So a lot of great natural places to choose from.
All of this is available at the Travel Wisconsin website. Logan Rogie is my guest. We're going to ask him a couple more quick questions after a very short break, but we're coming right back. Don't leave, folks. Logan Rogie's here. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
As Wisconsin as a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. We are in a rare moment right now in Wisconsin politics. Why, you ask? Well, it's because we are not actively in the middle of a campaign cycle. It's been more than 6 weeks now since any of us have seen a campaign ad. It's been pretty nice, hasn't it? The moment we're in is as close as we're going to get to a political off-season here in Wisconsin. And we need to take advantage of this moment by taking action to improve our democracy. That means taking steps to address money in politics, cleaning up some issues with election administration, and creating a long-term plan for nonpartisan redistricting. In some cases, we can't make these kinds of changes in the middle of a campaign. So we need to be thinking about what we can do now. There's a lot both parties can agree on here, too. So let's make some moves this offseason, Wisconsin. Seize this moment to make a better, stronger, more inclusive democracy.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us. Keeping you connected to your local community with good news and great conversation. Here's Terry Barr with the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's a hit. Milwaukee Brewers baseball cards are being shared in several communities across the state. The partnership is with police officers in Green Bay, La Crosse, Kenosha, Milwaukee, and Madison, and meant to be an icebreaker between the cops and kids. Here's Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger.
eventually want to do it to more than just the major cities. So we're trying to get around the state as best we can and to sort of engage with our friends around the state. We're a statewide team. We're not just a Milwaukee team.
So see an officer, ask for your own comic book style baseball cards featuring all your favorite Brewers players. Until next time, I'm Terry Barr.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org. Supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly.
Freedom Town Chair and Director of Parks for Outagamie County, Justin Schumacher. Do you think the bureaucracy is responding to the needs of the people?
No, I think if it was responsive, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. That doesn't mean we burn the entire system down. How do we solve it? Get involved. Join your parks committee. Recognize where we're not good and improve it.
The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. Saturday and Sunday afternoons at 3 on WGBW and WISS and the Civic Media app.
Welcome back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Tomorrow night on the show, Kim Shefchick and the Doctors in Recital will be here live in studio. They are so unbelievably talented and absolutely beautiful singers. They will be here tomorrow night at 6:35, and they're going to make the popcorn pick of the week, which will be fun. And then Milwaukee writer, director, and professor Tate Bunker will be here in the second hour. So that'll be fun. Right now, we have a couple more minutes with our pal Logan Rogie from Travel Wisconsin. He's the senior communications specialist, and he got to flex his muscles a little earlier, folks, and I only got 1 out of 4 on a quiz, and Logan will pay for that at some point down the road. But right now, let's talk about a few more things that Travel Wisconsin is promoting in our lovely state. Logan, first, I want to ask you, are you headed to the theater this coming weekend? There's some big releases, and I'm talking about, of course, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Any interest?
That is on the list. I'm thinking about doing that Saturday. I mean,
Same.
if you're talking a movie franchise that is just pure entertainment and enjoyment, Mission Impossible is up there. So
You can't beat it.
looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'm almost sad to see it go, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right. So we've got a couple more things we can talk about here that you guys are promoting. Let me just ask you, what is your favorite season to promote here in Wisconsin? They're all beautiful for different reasons, but would it be summer? I mean, is that when we get the most visitors, in your opinion?
You know, asking me to choose my favorite season is like choosing my favorite Wisconsin cheese. It's almost impossible because there's something great about all of them. But you're right in that summer is when we do see the most visitors, those summer months. We see quite a few in all the other seasons, but, you know, folks, they're taking time off of work. Kids are out of school. There's just some more outdoor recreation opportunities that are open.
Yeah.
So we're going to see it starting to ratchet up here come Memorial Day weekend.
Very cool. All right. So before we let you go, tell us about some historical sites. I just had the Wisconsin Historical Society has been great about referring guests to this show. I love the work they do. So talk a little bit about your collaboration with them.
Yeah, so the Wisconsin Historical Society, they operate 12 distinct sites, and many are unveiling some new experiences this summer. I don't know if you had a chance to speak with folks from Old World, Wisconsin yet.
I did several months ago, actually.
Yeah, so this year they are unveiling Whitnabell's Tavern. They probably talked about this, but the Old World, Wisconsin just opened for the season, and this is the first historic building relocated to the property since the 1990s. And you're going to immerse yourself in a 1930s era tavern. You'll sip on beer made on site at Old World, Wisconsin's working brew house. So that's a cool experience to add to your summer travel itinerary.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, Circus World in Baraboo. Great one. They have those daily circus performances. And this year, for the first time, they're including a thrilling motorcycle high wire experience as part of the circus
That
performances.
sounds awesome. Yeah, we had, I think, Jennifer Kronk from Circus World on last week, and the stuff they do there, I can't believe that's in our state. I have to get down there and check that out. But before we run out of time, I want you to get through your list here. Let's talk about June Dairy Month. I mean, we're the dairy state. This sounds really cool, too. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so June Dairy Month is just a recognition of the dairy industry, our farmers, cheesemakers, and all the folks that make the magic happen. There's different ways that you can participate in the month through the lens of tourism. There's a ton of dairy breakfast events that happen throughout the state in all of June. So that's farmers inviting folks to their farm. You'll have a country style breakfast, tour the farm, see the barn, all that stuff. Typically petting zoos. One up in northeast Wisconsin you might want to consider is Shawano County's Brunch on the Farm. That's Sunday, June 22nd at Olson Dairy Farm. Some other ways you can enjoy June Dairy Month. You can check out the National Historic Cheese Making Center. That's in Monroe, famously home to Limburger cheese too in Monroe. So you're gonna have to try a Limburger cheese sandwich. But no, that's a great museum. They go through the story of cheese making from the late 1800s to the early 1900s with historic artifacts, equipments, and even a relocated century-old cheese factory on site at the museum.
That's so cool. All right, I think I do this every time you're here, Logan. We have about a minute left. If you had to go one place this summer, where are you going? Where is Logan Rogie taking some vacation and going to spend some time in Wisconsin?
Well, Apostle Islands is the one trip I know I'm for sure doing. But if I'd have to say I'm adding another one, I'd like to spend a little more time in Sheboygan this summer. They've just got so many cool things to do there. Wonderful art museums in nearby Kohler. You've got the lake right there. Some natural spaces to check out. So that's definitely high up on my list to get to.
Beautiful lakeshore too. They have and they've got that Wild Center, this beautiful old theater. I'm with you. Sheboygan's a great town. Logan, thank you so much as always. Always fun having you on the show, buddy.
Yeah, it was fun being on, Pete.
All right, have a great night. That's Logan Rogie from Travel Wisconsin. He's the senior communication specialist and maker of quizzes. Conrad, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, you didn't do well. And
guy back.
You should have looked at me. I was kind of like shaking my head,
Yeah.
I don't think you knew what I was doing, but I was trying to help you out.
I know, and I will say kudos on your poker face. You were giving me a look, but I couldn't tell which way. Not that I needed help in going 1 for 4, but we'll do it again. Logan's always fun, and check out Travel Wisconsin. Check out their website. My thanks to who do we have on tonight? We had Logan Rogie. We had Shane McAdams.
Yeah,
your texts and calls, everything. So much fun. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow night, folks. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad. Good night, Wisconsin.
I'll sing it to you.